Today we're going to create a transaction using the template that we have already created. In order to start a transaction, you can do it two different ways. You can use the widget on your dashboard, or you can go into the transactions and you can click on the plus at the top in order to create a new transaction. Just use whichever method is easier for you. Just click on Create Transaction, and either way that you choose to do this, you're going to end up at this screen. First, you're going to come in and you're going to name your transaction. Typically, I name it the address and I use all capital letters. But for today's class, we're going to use Test Kit Offer. And then I'm going to choose a template. You can see that it's easy to choose the right one when you have used capital letters or you date it. And then we're going to import data. This helps to populate some of the areas in the transaction forms. We're going to choose our ward, and then we're going to use an MLS number. I've just chosen one at random to use for today. And then you're going to choose if you're going to be the cooperating salesperson, listing salesperson, neither, or both. For today, we're going to use cooperating salesperson. Make sure to have your wizard checked off so that it makes it easier to do the transaction. Click on Create. Once it has been created, you will come into this area where you notice that you have your next and your previous buttons, which means that you are actually in the wizard. There's going to be areas in here that are used for listing and areas for a purchase. You do not need to fill in every area. In fact, you don't need to fill in any of these areas. You will see that it has been filled in because we used the MLS data. But if you did not, and this is blank, you can continue on to the next page. By placing information here, it translates onto your forms. Next. This is another area that you can choose to fill in if you want, or you can just continue on and fill in the dates once you get to the forms. In this area, you're going to add your contacts. The cooperating salesperson, listing salesperson, both brokerages, and the seller should have populated by using the data. At this point, you can add your buyers as well, and this will translate or populate into the forms. Just click on the plus, create new transaction contact, fill out the information, select the kind of contact they are, and then click on Save. Continue on. You can see by using your template that you used for your transaction that you created earlier that all your forms are here already and you don't have to add any more. And because we added all the forms that you could possibly need for a transaction, you don't have to add them later. You simply are going to click on the first one, and any information that has not been populated, you will continue to fill in. Continue on this way until all the pages have been filled in. You will see that some of the items have been populated. When you get down to page 6, this is where you're going to start adding your clauses. If you added clauses in your template, they would have followed into this transaction as well. You're simply going to come up here to the clauses. You're going to choose if your clauses are personal, office, or system clauses. You can also use the search bar to look for all of your clauses. Creating personal clauses is something that we teach in our WEBForms class, and we go into more detail of how to do it. I have created a file in my personal clauses, and I've called it mandatory. I've put all my clauses that I typically use in this file. I'll use the selection circles to choose all of my clauses. I can see that they're in the basket, and I have an opportunity to remove any that I put in error. I can also choose to use the search bar for any of my clauses, either by the name of the clause or if I know the number. Once I have all my clauses chosen and they're in my basket, then I can proceed to put them into my offer. Notice I have this scroll bar on the side. That happens when there's too many clauses for this page. What you should do is put the scroll bar to the top, scroll the page to the bottom, choose any clauses that are below the end of the scroll bar, cut, come up here to the top, add a page, yes, and then you can use your book icon up here, go down to page 7, click to get your green box, and paste. And now when we go back to page 6, you can see the scroll bar is gone. If you keep the scroll bar in and you print or email the offer, the font will go smaller to fit in the page. Once you have all of your clauses in your offer, you can come up to transaction forms and just continue on to the next form that you need to fill in. And you continue on in this manner until all your forms are completed. Once your forms are completed, you can exit, and this will bring you back into this area. If you'd like to send them to print, or you would like to send them to your e-signature program, come into Transactions, choose the transaction that we just worked on, go to Forms. You can see here that we're now in the transaction dashboard, so everything in this dashboard belongs to this offer. Choose the forms that you would like to send to either print, email, or e-signature. You can see that they've loaded into my basket. If I click on the basket, I have the option to send it to Authentisign, to print. I can download it as a PDF onto my desktop, or I can proceed to use it in email. Thank you for watching the video about how to create a transaction. To register for a WEBForms class, you can find registration instructions on Matrix under News and Alerts, or by accessing Realtor link under the Education tab, or by sending an email to learning@lstar.ca.